Somebody on Facebook just told you Cape Coral home prices are falling 9.6% this year. Here's the problem. They're not. They're actually up 10% year over year from last July. And that's not the only bad information floating around out there right now. For the last 2 or 3 years, price increases on listings have been rare. The first week of August, we saw 63 sellers raise their asking price, something we just haven't seen much of in this market. Sellers are starting to feel more confident again, and buyers are definitely noticing. Here's what buyers keep telling me. Barry, we're not seeing the options that we saw 12 months ago. They're right, inventory is down 23% from last year. But here's what might surprise you. Closed sales are actually up. We've already hit 500 plus home sales in 4 separate months this year. Last year, that only happened twice all year. So fewer homes on the market, more of them selling, and prices quietly climbing. That combination only points in one direction. In this update, I'll break down exactly where inventory, pricing, and demand stand right now. Why some of what you're seeing online about this market is flat out wrong, and what I'd be watching closely if I were buying or selling here in Cape Coral. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, and this is your August 2026 Cape Coral Market Update.
Welcome aboard. This is your Cape Coral Market Update for August 2026. We've got a lot of great information to unpack. This is the single family home market update for the city of Cape Coral. We're going to go over all the numbers. We're going to look at inventory. We're going to look at closed sales, median price point, days on market, and of course, months of inventory left on the market. That helps us determine whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market or a neutral market. And we've really been seeing the trend switch it up over the last several months. So that's going to be a telltale sign. We keep moving in that direction. I think we're in for some big changes in 2027. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or retiring here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral, go ahead and reach out to me. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code if you are watching this on TV. That's going to be up here in the video here in just a few minutes. So go ahead and take advantage of that. It is a complimentary video call. We're going to talk about your budget, what you can afford here in the city of Cape Coral. You might be surprised because the value here is absolutely incredible. We're going to talk about flood zones. We're going to talk about insurance. We're going to talk about distance to open water. We're going to talk about bridge heights and the different quadrants and what they offer. So go ahead and reach out. Let's go ahead and chat. All right, let's dive into the market update for Cape Coral. Market indicators. This is what we have to understand in order to understand what the market's telling us. If we don't understand what the indicators are, then we're not going to understand what the market's telling us. First up, we have inventory. How many homes are currently available on the market here in the city of Cape Coral? Next up is median price. This is the price point that the homes are selling for. 50% of the homes sold above this amount, 50% of the homes sold below this amount. Days on the market. How many days are homes sitting on the market before going under contract? And then closed sales. This is how many homes are actually selling here in the city of Cape Coral. This is our demand. And we have seen the demand increase from where we were last year at the same time. Okay, first up, active inventory. So currently for July 2026, at this moment, we have 2,178 homes available for sale. That's single-family homes here in the city of Cape Coral. That's both golf access and dry lot homes. 2,178. Now, just a few months ago, 3 months ago, April 2026, we had 2,539 homes for sale on the market. And then 1 year ago, July 2025, 2,822 homes on the market. And if you remember, if you've been watching these reports for quite a while, we actually peaked back in February of 2025 with over 3,500 single-family homes on the market. So as you can see, we've dropped substantially since back then. And as you can see the chart here, I thought we were going to jump up a little bit higher once we got into season, January, February. However, we did see a little bit of a bump, but nowhere near where we did at 3,400 last year. So 2026, the inventory just wasn't there, and that's for multiple reasons. Some of it is builders have definitely slowed down, so we're not seeing as much new construction come to the market. Other folks have decided that it's not the right time to sell. Maybe they're not getting the money that they thought they were going to get for the house, so they've taken their homes off the market, and other various reasons. Now, as you can see here, we've just been trending down since February. We're going to keep going in that direction. I think we're going to level off now. Once we get into the fall months, we typically see less demand, so the inventory starts to increase. And then once we get into November, December, January, we start to see the numbers increase quite a bit in preparation for the snowbird season. However, we're not going to increase. I believe that where we were at in this season, at about 2,800, 2,900, is higher than we're going to be in 2027. So if you're expecting a lot of more options to come to the market, it's just not going to happen. We are in this downward trend, and that's one of the biggest complaints I hear from my buyers lately. I've got several buyers, and I send them inventory often, and they say, Barry, we're not seeing the homes that we saw just 12 months ago. There's just not as many options. What happened? Well, the inventory is shrinking, and it's shrinking fast. So if you do find one that you like and it's priced in your budget, I recommend jumping on that opportunity. Median price point. So price point for July 2026, median price was $402,000. April 2026, $382,000. And then July 2025, $364,900. Now, did we increase 10% year over year? I don't believe so. We did definitely increase, and we watch for trends. So with the median price point, it's going to go up and down, and it's going to fluctuate. But we want to see what it's doing over the course of several months. And as you can see by the chart here, it is starting to increase. And then once we got into December, January, it dropped a little bit. And then once we got into March, it's been trending upwards since. So prices are increasing, and that's only natural when you have inventory drop and demand stays high. Eventually prices are going to start to increase. Now, did you miss your window of opportunity? I don't believe so. Sellers are still negotiating. However, you need to take advantage now. I believe we are definitely at the bottom, and we're starting to come back up off the bottom. And so pay attention if you are in the market to purchase a home and you've been waiting. Now might be a great time to jump in. All right. One of the things that I really like to cover that really puts out misleading information. There's a lot of misleading information out there. A lot of things happening that just is not correct. You see it all the time. For some reason, people love to pick on Cape Coral. They cherry pick numbers. But anyways, or they just completely put out wrong information. And these were two things that I saw in the last couple of weeks. We saw this chart here, where home prices are falling in 2026. Cape Coral, Florida, minus 9.6%. Actually, year over year, we're up 10%. We're not dropping 9.6%. So this is just blatantly wrong. And then I saw other real estate agents actually sharing this graphic on their pages. So beware, make sure that you have a real estate agent out there that knows exactly what's happening in the market, that actually reads the numbers and pays attention to the trends, because it's extremely important when you're purchasing a home. So you're not underpaying or not overpaying. Well, you can never really underpay, but you never want to overpay. And then this one here, this one was actually put out by a lender. It said Cape Coral market update, inventory rising. You have more options and negotiation room. That's old news. Like a year and a half ago, inventory was increasing rather rapidly, and you did have a lot of options in February 2025. That was almost 18 months ago. This is old news. We're not in that position anymore. And I just saw recently a news person on Facebook, who's one of the news anchors here in the local area, and he was putting out information as well about inventory is increasing. Well, inventory has not been increasing for well over a year. Inventory has been decreasing. So that's my little rant, but pay attention to who you're watching out there and what you're listening to, because there's a lot of false information, a lot of cherry-picked information. You want to get your numbers directly from the MLS, and you want to see trends. And that's why I put out these reports every single month, so that you can get the exact numbers that are coming directly from the MLS. All right, let's jump ahead. Days on the market. So July 2026, 52 days on the market. April 2026, 47 days on the market before going under contract. And then July 2025, 57 days on the market. Now, this is still really high, 52 days on the market. And the reason that this number is still high, even though inventory has been decreasing quite a bit, is the numbers are reflective of homes that have been put on the market back in January, February in preparation for season, and they're still sitting on the market not selling because they're grossly overpriced. And they just sit there, and the sellers aren't really in a hurry to sell, and that's what happens, and that's what's bringing these up. We're still not seeing days on the market fall substantially. I mean, you can see where they were at last year. July, August, September, we actually got above 60 days there, and then we dropped quite a bit, and we've stayed right around 50 days on the market. So is that going to change? I do expect it to continue to decrease, but it's not a number that's decreasing fast. I would like to see it around 30 days. I think that would be a healthy number for us to see here in Cape Coral. All right, closed sales. Now this is exciting. So July 2026, we had 507 closed sales, single family homes closed in the city of Cape Coral. 507 homes sold. That's a huge number. April 2026, 560 homes sold. And then July 2025, 1 year ago, 443 homes sold. That's a huge jump, 443 to 507 year over year. That number is really impressive, and that number is just testament that the demand is here. One of the things that I've seen, and I work with Golf Access Homes a lot, is I saw the demand for Golf Access homes really start to increase this year compared to the last few years. Those buyers of the high-end product here in Cape Coral are actually jumping in. They've said, we see how the market's trending and how it's starting to hit the bottom, or already hit the bottom and starting to come back up, so we want to take advantage. And we did see that trend happen here in Cape Coral, where the Golf Access homes are selling more demand than there was the last couple of years. Now this is the overall single family home market in Cape Coral, 507 homes selling. But just to give you some perspective, this year we've hit 500 homes sold 4 months out of the first 7 months. Last year, all year, we only hit 2 months that actually went over 500. We've actually sold about 250 more homes this year, the first 7 months this year, than we did last year, 250. Last year, the number was 3,077. This year, it's 3,328 sold homes for single family. So homes are definitely being sold here in the city of Cape Coral. They're not just sitting stagnant. Our market's moving, and it's moving fast. When the homes go on the market, they're actually priced right. They do sell rather quickly. I just put a home on the market this last week. It's been on the market now for about 8 days. I've had 9 showings already, which last year, the year before that, we didn't really see that. But now we're starting to see that demand increase. And what really surprised me is we're in August now. The market starts to slow down. So I was expecting to put the home on the market. We'd have a few showings. We'd really work hard to market it, but we give it a lot of exposure as well. But really, to have 9 showings the first week was something I was not expecting based on my knowledge of the market and what happens in August. As we go forward, once we get into the middle of August and September, October, it typically slows down. But given this information that I now have based on personal experience, the market's not slowing down. We're in August and it's still hot and buyers are still here buying, which is a great sign. All right, months of inventory. This is one that I really like to people to understand, because months of inventory is basically, if we didn't have another new home hit the market, like no more new listings, it would take this many months to completely sell out our inventory based on the current demand. So July 2026, 4.3 months of inventory. April 2026, 4.5 months of inventory. 1 year ago, July 2025, 6.4 months of inventory. Now, anywhere between 4 and 6 months is considered a neutral market. Anything over 6 months is a buyer's market. Anything under 4 months is a seller's market. We're at 4.3. Now, I talked to you about trends because you really want to pay attention. You don't want the outlier months. That really doesn't do much for us. But if you look down here at the chart, the last 5 months have all been right around 5 months or less. So we're very much in a neutral market trending towards a seller's market. And this is where we were in 2025. And then we were even a bit higher than that. We were actually quite a bit into a buyer's market in early 2025 and 2024. So as you can see where we're trending, and in the Golf Access report that I do every single month, and I put that one out a few days ago, you can go watch that one, we're actually just barely into a seller's market for Golf Access homes. Now, that doesn't mean that prices have gone up. That means that we're hitting that level where if inventory continues to shrink, the demand continues to increase, the only thing that's logical that can happen is that prices will continue and start to go up, and then go up not, I wouldn't say rather quickly, but once they start going up, they're going to start going up, because especially once we get into 2027. I really am pushing right now and letting you know that if you don't take advantage of 2026, the next 6 months or 5 months that we have left here, once we get into 2027 and all that competition comes in with the snowbirds, prices are going to start going up. So pay attention, watch the reports. I put the numbers out every single month. You can go back and watch some past reports, some past market updates, and just to get an idea of what's happening. But I put these charts every single month right there so you can see the trends and how it's working out. All right, let's look at the 1 week look. So July, the first week of July, we had 128 new listings, 86 sold homes for the first 7 days of July. If we come on down here, we had 150 homes that went pending, 29 price increases, and then 204 price decreases. Now, the first week of August, so 1 month later, we usually see numbers start to trail off once we get into August. However, we had 153 new listings, that's more listings, 137 sold, that's quite a bit more sold than we had in July 1st, that first week. If we go on down here to pending, 137 homes went pending the first week of August, compared to where we were at here in the first week of July, we had 115. Price increases, 63. Now, price increase was 29 last month, 63 this month. I'm not going to get too excited, but that tells me that other realtors like myself are seeing demand on their properties, and they're saying, wow, I think we priced it a little too low, so we need to start jumping it back up again. And so we're starting to see price increases happening. We weren't seeing that at all last year or even the first part of this year, but we are starting to see it now. So again, pay attention. Price decreases, 241. So we're still seeing a lot of price decreases, just meaning that homes were overpriced and they're being brought back down to hit market conditions. All right, other key numbers to be aware of: sold price per square foot, $251 a square foot. List price received, 98%. So basically, if you are looking for discounts, the sellers are giving about a 2% discount, whatever the list price is. And that's the average. Sometimes you can get more than that. Sometimes you're not going to get anything at all. So 98% is where we're at right now, meaning sellers are still giving discounts. Back in 2021, 2022, that was 100%. You were not getting a discount. You were actually paying more than what the list price was in a lot of situations. New listings, we got 624 new homes hit the market here in the month of July. And then months of inventory, we're currently sitting at 4.3 months of inventory. I'm pretty confident we're going to stay right in the fours for the next few months. But once we get into 2027, there's a good chance we might bump into a seller's market once we get into March, April, May of next year. But we're going to follow that right along. Okay, other key numbers to be aware of: what's happening out there in the economy. Inflation was at 9.1% back in 2022. We're sitting now at 3.5%. I don't know if you remember, but last month it actually bumped up to 4.2%. Now it's dropped back down to 3.5%. Interest rates, November 2023, 8.01%. That was the peak. We're now sitting at about 6.67%. And we are seeing it trend up right now. Interest rates are going up just a bit. And our target is to be below 6%. That would be a great place to be. Before, we said 6.5% was what we were looking at, and we did get below 6.5% for quite some time, and we did see the inventory start to go, and we start to see demand increase. We did not see prices increase, but we did see demand increase, and we saw inventory decrease. But if we were to get below 6%, which I think is doable, we're not going to get back to 3% or 4% again, but I think we will see a time here in the not so distant future where we did get below 6% here in, maybe not this year, but we will see that happen here again. Unemployment is at 4.2% and staying steady. We've been high threes, low fours for the last couple of years when it comes to unemployment. Nothing new there. Supply here in Cape Coral, 2,178 homes available for sale. That's single family homes here in the city of Cape Coral. Year over year decrease of 22%. So we're down 22.8, almost 23% from where we were last year at the same time. So it's not available. When you have demand, or when you have supply going away and demand increasing, that typically means that the product is going to increase in price. Population is estimated currently at around 240,000 people here in the city of Cape Coral. Next 4 years, we're expected to hit 260,000 people, and by 2050, 320,000. We're often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities here in the state of Florida. And that's to be seen every single day. You see the traffic increasing. You see people moving here all the time. And if you're on the Facebook pages and you're reading those and you're hearing the people talk about how they hate Cape Coral and how everyone's moving away, it's just not the case. Come down, visit our beautiful city, and you'll just see how lively it is here and what's going on. And it's absolutely incredible. I love all the new developments that are happening, the new projects that are being worked on, the parks that are being redone. A lot of beautiful things are happening here in the city of Cape Coral. And now's a great time to get in and start taking advantage of that before the prices start to go up again. All right, is now the time to buy? Yes, absolutely, now's the time to buy. If you were waiting for the bottom's here, the bottom's come, and it's starting to trend back the other direction. Your options are shrinking. You don't have as many options as you did 1 year ago, or even 2 years ago for that matter. So your options are shrinking. However, you still have low prices, still have opportunities. So if you do find one that you like, I would highly recommend you jump on that house, because it may not be there very long, or you may not find one that you like again if you let that one slide. Neutral market. We're currently in a neutral market. We're not really, the buyers really don't have much leverage. The sellers don't have much leverage. Let me rephrase it. Buyers do have leverage still. However, that leverage is slipping away quickly and heading back towards sellers. But sellers still do not have the leverage quite yet. But you need to pay attention. You need to watch what's happening in the market. And if you're going to be buying, pay attention. Sellers are willing to negotiate still, but how much longer? If you are watching this on TV, you can click this button or click the QR code. Get rid of that. Here we go. You can click the QR code right down there at the bottom of the screen. Book your strategy call with me like many others have. I love to chat with potential clients that are looking to come down to the Cape Coral area. We can have a conversation. We can look at homes right on the MLS. I do a video call. It's complimentary. Love to go over some things with you and chat and see if Cape Coral is the right place for you. For some people, it's not. For many people, it is, though. And I would love to start that process so you can soon be here enjoying your winters in paradise in Cape Coral. Of course, docking your boat right out back in your backyard. All right, is now the time to sell. So why do you want to sell? I believe the time to sell is coming, and it's coming quickly. And if you're not expecting the top dollar of 2022, then now is a great time to sell, because our inventory is decreasing quickly. What that means is there's still a lot of demand and homes are starting to sell quicker. So if you need to sell or you want to sell, as long as you set your expectations correctly, you're going to sell that home and it's going to sell fairly quickly. Inventory is trending down. As long as inventory keeps going down, you are going to have leverage as a seller. Right now, it's extremely important, though, to still use strategic selling. You have to have an agent that understands the market, that understands AI, artificial intelligence, how to market that property correctly, how to price it correctly, and how to get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible. You need to have an agent that understands social media and how to market it through social media as well. And if you are an out-of-town seller, maybe you have a home here, you've been coming down every year for the winter time, and you're thinking maybe it's time to sell the home here in Florida. I do the video calls, so go ahead and click the link there or take a photo of the link, that QR code on the screen right now, and you can actually book a call to talk with me to see if now's the right time to sell your house, and I can review your home with you. If you're not here in the area, I'm happy to go over to the home, take a look, and then give you my honest opinion of what I believe that home would sell for, and you can make that decision if it's the right time for you now or not. Okay. And that concludes this market update for 2026 for the Cape Coral real estate market of single family homes. Hope you found some valuable information here. If you would like to chat, go ahead and click the link in the description, or you're welcome to scan the QR code with your phone and we can set up a call and you can find out if Cape Coral is the right place for you. All right. Have a great day.